Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hi. Okay. You guys ready to come inside? Loki. Loki. Here we go. Good boy. Oh, you're wet. Is it raining outside?
And the next weekend it dropped off by 66% and only made, but 13 million.
Mm-hmm.
And then they decided to re-release it this past weekend and it only made $300,000.
300,000? Oh my
And
goodness.
they released it in 1,330 theaters. So that means that they sold like 1 to 2 tickets per showing per theater.
On Mother's Day? Would you like some coffee?
I would love some coffee.
So I guess this is gonna be the first episode of like a minimal spend grocery series where I'm trying to use up some things in my fridge, freezer, and pantry. And we're gonna try to make it to the end of May and just see how little we can spend on groceries over the next 2 weeks. Yesterday, I really only cooked us breakfast and then the kids had football practice, so we just grabbed burgers on our way home, and that was pretty much the entire day. But the breakfast that I made yesterday turned out really good, so I'm gonna recreate it again today. It was basically like a hash with fried eggs. So we've got half of an onion, a bell pepper that's seen better days, some bacon. This is bacon ends and pieces that I got from Grocery Outlet for pretty cheap, and I had frozen it, so that's why it's in the bag. Eggs. So what I did yesterday was I took a handful of the bacon from out of my bag, and these are kind of rough cuts. Again, this is ends and pieces, so there's nothing uniform in here. So I just took it and chopped it down into smaller pieces. We're gonna fry up the bacon first. This is what you guys are always hearing in the background of my videos, is the click, click, clacking of little nails on the floor. Hi. Guys always want to walk around whenever I'm in the middle of cooking, especially when I start talking. That's when you want to walk the most. Bacon's good and crispy. We've got a lot of fat kind of rendered out of it. Next, I'm going to go in there with my peppers and onions and my potatoes. I season this all with like an all-purpose seasoning. I need to make some more of this, but it's salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and paprika. I got the recipe from allrecipes.com. I'll mix up a fresh batch of it today. But having that little seasoning mix has been really handy. Then I'm going to add a splash of water. Cover that up with a lid, and we're going to let that steam for about 10 minutes. All right, it's been 10 minutes. Time to give it a toss. Some of the potatoes still stick to the bottom of the skillet, even with the bacon fat and this being a non-stick skillet, but that doesn't really bother me. So now I'm going to add back in the cooked bacon. Give that a toss. And then the last thing I add is some shredded cheddar cheese to the top. Then I'm going to cover it up with a lid, and I'm going to set it aside so that cheese can melt while we fry our eggs. Well, buddy, I know what you want. We'll go today, I promise. Yeah. So that is our breakfast. This potato hash with peppers, onions, bacon, and cheese. And some fried eggs. And we had this for breakfast yesterday, and it kept both of us full for a very long time. It's a very hearty breakfast. And cheesy, as you can see. Gonna have it the same way we had it yesterday, which was just with a good drizzle of ketchup over the whole thing. And that's our breakfast for the day. So I've mentioned in a previous video that I'm a morning cleaner. I'm most productive within the first few hours of waking up, and I've always said it's kind of my curse that I was meant to be a morning person, but I'm incapable of waking up super early. Because on the days that I have to wake up early, like when the kids have school, I get so much stuff done before 10 o'clock in the morning, but I cannot make myself wake up at 6 o'clock voluntarily. I really wish I could, because I feel like it would make me a completely different person if I could just wake up early. But that's why I call it a curse. I'm also very particular about how I do dishes, because I feel like I have to hand wash them first and also dishwash them, because it's the only way that I really feel like they get clean. So most of you guys know that this is a rental, and I still have our house in Virginia. It has not sold yet. I don't even remember the last time we had like a showing or somebody come by to look at it. We have dropped the price on it, still nothing. So we're going on a little over 4 months with still no offers or prospective buyers on our house. So 4 months of paying rent and utilities here in Washington, and a mortgage and utilities in Virginia. Still optimistic that it'll get bought soon, but just hanging in there, I guess you could say. We've been really lucky with the timing of certain things. Like, we haven't been, too financially stressed, because I've had a few brand deals here and there, which have made things a lot more manageable when you're juggling that many expenses. But we've been in this rental for a little over 2 months now, because our move-in date was March 1st, and we're in May now. Actually, so it's been, are we in May? Oh, so our house has been on the market for 5 months. 5 months with no prospective buyers. I've seen a couple of comments about the sink and how people love this giant sink, and I would say that of all the things in this house, this is my least favorite part of the house. It seems really good because you can wash a lot of big things in it. But there's only one drain, there's no divider. So if I'm washing dishes, like I have a sink full of soapy water, and I realize that, a coffee cup still has coffee in it, I have nowhere to dump it. I have nowhere to drain it. So it has pros and cons, but I prefer two sinks, because then you have a place to dump things or a place to rinse things, because I also can't rinse things when the sink is full of soapy water either. So, you know, caveats, I guess you could say. I think the only other thing about this is just, you know, we're in an HOA, so that's not super ideal. And it's kind of a crowded, it's a lot more crowded than we're used to. Our home in Virginia was in a very rural area, and now we're kind of in the suburbs a bit. So it's a bit of an adjustment. We're used to a very quiet life, not being able to hear our neighbors and things like that. But overall, we're really happy here, and we have no intentions of moving anytime soon. So it is lunchtime now, and I was gonna make a grilled cheese sandwich with tomato soup, but I don't have any tomato soup. I do, however, have various forms of tomatoes. So I thought we would try this tomato herb soup from budgetbites.com. Several of these ingredients I'm going to have to substitute for what I have on hand though. I'm starting with a medium-sized pot and just some regular vegetable oil. Then I added a couple of heaping spoonfuls of minced garlic and some Italian seasoning. Not really measuring anything here. A little bit of crushed red pepper flake, and then we're gonna let this saute together on medium-low in that oil to kind of cook that garlic and activate those seasonings. We're not trying to burn anything here though, so it's really important that this is on a pretty low heat. Then I added a 28-ounce can of tomato puree, and I mixed that all together. The recipe says to add a tablespoon of brown sugar, so in that went. The purpose of the brown sugar is to help balance the acidity of the tomatoes. And this is some of my homemade chicken broth, and it's still partially frozen. This is somewhere between 3 and 4 cups because this container wasn't full. So as you can see, we've still got a big hunk of frozen chicken broth, and I just mixed in what I could, and then I just covered it up with a lid, and I let it just chill and simmer until that broth had fully melted and dissolved into the soup. At this point, I did taste it for seasonings, and I still felt like it tasted quite acidic, so I added extra brown sugar along with some salt and pepper, and I continued to taste it and adjust those seasonings specifically until I had something that I was fairly happy with. I think I added about 3 or 4 tablespoons of brown sugar in total. Now, as far as the grilled cheese itself goes, you probably don't need a tutorial on how to make a grilled cheese. I will say, however, that I was using this white bread that I got at Dollar Tree, which is now $1.50, not $1.25. And this bread was quite thick, almost more like Texas toast, and I felt like it was a little on the dry side. So normally I would only do 1 slice of American cheese per sandwich, but I did 2 slices just to compensate for kind of how thick and dense this bread was. And so that was our lunch for today. Homemade tomato soup with some grilled cheese sandwiches. Now our review on this tomato soup specifically was that it was good, but it did kind of just taste like pasta sauce. So I think it would be better if I added some milk or cream to it just to smooth it out a little bit more and make it a little bit more like Campbell's tomato soup. But we did like it. It was fairly simple and quick to make, so I would make it again. And as for dinner, we had something really simple planned. We're just gonna do regular soft tacos. So I had some taco meat in my freezer that I thawed, and I had some iceberg lettuce that I shredded up. I put together this little toppings tray, which was salsa, sour cream. I had some shredded cheese, shredded lettuce, and I think with the last compartment, I just threw in some diced onion. Warmed up a few flour tortillas on the stovetop, and I just set out the toppings and did a whole build-it-yourself kind of taco bar. And that was our minimal spend day 1. Nothing fancy, just a regular day of eating meals at home using things I already have. So for breakfast, just a breakfast hash using odds and ends and some fried eggs, a pantry-friendly tomato soup paired with a grilled cheese sandwich, and just some plain Jane soft tacos for dinner. This might not look super exciting, but these kind of days are the backbone of how we save money and stretch what we have. I think it's important to show just average meals because we have a tendency to get caught up in what's new, and sometimes it's not about reinventing the wheel, but making the best use of what you already have. So thank you guys for hanging out with me, and I'll see you again in the next one.